one of our 3 timeouts that we are allotted here on the show from the Football Friday. Talk a little baseball because the MLB GM meetings are going on, and it is being made very clear by those in the know that one of the teams that is getting a lot of phone calls, that is getting a lot of interest in their team, is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They have emerged as a team, at least according to this story in The Athletic by Will Salmon and Patrick Mooney. They are receiving significant interest from other teams that are looking to improve their starting rotation. And the story mentions that rival executives are looking at the Diamondbacks because they have more options, more quality. They are the interesting team to pay attention to. And the story mentions Zac Gallen. It mentions Merrill Kelly. It mentions the entire starting rotation for this team and mentions that the Diamondbacks have to at least listen because they have things that they need to address and the money is against them. So we are going to normally you set the stage for this and you start to slowly ramp it up. I'm just going to kick the door down on this. And again, 480-864-1060, because when you make a statement like this, when you have a take like this and you kick the door down, it gets people fired up. So I'm prepared for the backlash that's going to come with this. I'm very prepared. I think it is time for the Arizona Diamondbacks to strongly consider moving Zac Gallen. I believe this is the offseason for them to make this move, in large part because it is the last offseason for them to consider this move. And if they don't, I think it is going to have some serious ramifications for the long term. This is a math problem for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We've talked a lot about what their projected payroll is right now, what their projected end-of-year payroll was last year. Let's just look at this in actual dollars. Their salary cash number last year was 14th in Major League Baseball at $189 million. Their tax number, what counted against the luxury tax, was 13th in all of baseball at $219 million. That is below the first threshold of $237. The threshold moves up to, I believe it is $241 for this season. So 14th at $189 million in actual cash. Tax number was 219, 13th in the league. Right now, as we sit here, according to Spotrac, they ranked 13th in salary cash for this upcoming season at $110 million. So a difference of $79 million right now to where their number was last year in cash. And their tax number right now is $131 million. Again, around another $80 million or so below the tax. Now, I think it's incredibly fair and incredibly reasonable to make the suggestion that those numbers from 2024, $189 million in salary cash, the tax number being $219 million, those numbers are going to come down this season. Now, maybe I'm proven wrong on this, but I don't think this organization is going to continue to spend at those limits. They missed the playoffs last year. They didn't get the playoff revenue like they did the year prior when they made a run to the World Series. Yes, attendance was up, but the reason why they had the expanded budget was not because it was completely in line with what they made. It wasn't a complete reinvestment of what they made in the postseason directly into the team. It was, hey, we're going to increase the budget. We might actually increase the budget a little bit more because we had such a good year last year. We know the season ticket sales are going to be better. We know there are going to be more people in the ballpark. So that's might already be caked in to what last year's number was. So those numbers are going to come down. Right now they sit at $110 million. For total cash, so 79 off of what last year's number was. So again, we don't think it's going to be 189. We don't know necessarily what the number is going to be, but it is going to come down from 110 million. And that doesn't include the arbitration players. That doesn't include $14 million projected for Zac Gallen or $3 million for a bunch of relievers that are in the bullpen. And so that's going to bring that number up. And so we might be looking at a place where their cash is already pretty close, bumping up pretty strongly with their number from last year. So freeing up a potential $14 million by trading Zac Gallen might be the best way for the Arizona Diamondbacks to improve their team in 2025. Trading the ace, the number one guy on your staff, being the best way for you to improve your team feels like an oxymoron. But here's why. He's a free agent at the end of this season. At the end of 2025, Zac Gallen is going to hit the free agent market. Spotrac projects his market value to be in the range of 6 years, $138 million. That breaks down to an annual average value of 23.1, meaning that's what would count against the luxury tax for the entire run of the contract for the Diamondbacks. So they might be able to play with the number a little bit and change the cash allocation around, but against the tax, he's going to count for $23.1 million. Do we think right now that the Diamondbacks will make that type of deal an offer to Zac Gallen? Do we think the Diamondbacks want to make that deal happen? He is a Scott Boras client, is Zac Gallen. It is going to be a drawn-out process. Just watch the Juan Soto sweepstakes. Just watch Sean Manaea, who's another Boras client that's a starting pitcher. Watch Pete Alonso. These things take a while. Are the Diamondbacks willing to play ball? Are they willing to do that? You know how these negotiations are going to go. Is that something the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to want to do? And if the answer is no to that, then it needs to be trade him now, get something for him. So yeah, there's pain now. But imagine what that $14 million that you freed up could do to your team. You have a rotation that I think people feel pretty strongly about. Merrill Kelly, Brennan Pfaadt, Ryan Nelson, Eduardo Rodriguez is a solid 4. You have Yilber Diaz as a young option who got some time last year but is in the minors. That $14 million might be better used elsewhere, improving the offense and the bullpen than it would be to Zac Gallen, because then you also can add in the prospects that you would recoup in a potential trade for Zac Gallen. Now, he is a Boras client, so anybody that's going to trade for him knows he's more than likely going to see free agency out. And so the prospect haul is not going to be as great. But to me, the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to be under a little bit of a cash crunch this winter. There's a math problem here. The one solution to solving that math problem is trading Zac Gallen, and it needs to get serious thought.